You dribble that ball, and you jump real high, and you slam the ball right through the net, and then you poop your pants. Yes, yes you do. It's called the basketball poo. It's called the slam dunk poo.
Hi. I'm SK, or as I'm better known, Scratchicket 5743 or Stick the Landing. I was a fan of Moss Shadow for around 4 years, but about a year ago I had a negative experience with them and their community that led me to realize their faults and stop associating with them entirely. I've been primarily participating in this situation through YouTube comment sections and the occasional Scratch comments since I cut ties with Moss Shadow and their Discord server of over 100 people, but considering a slew of recent information that has been revealed about them and their priorities, I feel it's time to start getting more involved in this shitstorm. As you can probably tell, this isn't my main YouTube account. I decided it would be better not to use my main for this to potentially avoid a slew of stress. However, I'm not going to be keeping my identity a secret because it has bearing to what I'm about to tell you, and I feel anonymity may not be the right choice in this instance. I'm not exactly dedicated to this sort of thing, so I'm going to be using this GIF of Chris from Deltarune to represent myself here along with a Microsoft text-to-speech voice. Apologies if this bothers you. To start off this video, Moss Shadow has been proven to have faked their own death, or at the very best attempted suicide rather than faking their own death, though I do not believe the latter is what really happened. When they faked their death, they linked a Google document to their video in which they claimed a bunch of individuals had murdered them to garner sympathy, including myself. I don't think I need to explain why claiming a bunch of teenagers who you have only interacted with on the internet murdered you in your suicide note is deplorable. The reason why these specific individuals were named was because all of them associate with each other and that multiple of them, specifically Dino, JT, Red, and Fern, have created videos detailing Moss Shadow's wrongdoings with screenshot evidence showing that they're guilty of grooming the at the time 12 to 13-year-old Dino, posting frankly disgusting artwork depicting implied zoophilia and child rape while trying to pass it off as vent art, lying about the intent of a character intended to represent topics like child rape and prostitution in order to justify posting said character onto a site for children aged 8 and up and demonizing its moderators when they got rightfully banned for it, as well as other subject matter I'm not going to go into. For the purpose of this video, I'm only going to be going into heavy detail regarding more recent revelations. To start off, Moss Shadow returned to the internet on June 29 of 2025, claiming in a YouTube community post that they'd recently gotten out of the hospital and that people claiming that they faked their own death was disrespectful. I don't think I need to explain why this is also a load of shit, as they have been proven to have faked their own suicide, and this post only further proves that such is the case. To further prove that this is a load of shit, there has been evidence that Moss has been active during the month-long period between the upload of the video they attached the suicide note I mentioned to and their community post, starting off with a post they made on Reddit. This website is a website that archives Reddit posts, deleted or not. This is Moss Shadow's Reddit profile. Searching up Moss's profile on this website shows this post from June 1 of 2025, which was posted multiple days after Moss had allegedly committed suicide. Clicking on the link shows the post does exist, though it has been taken down. This proves that not only was Moss not dead, but they were active only a few days after having allegedly committed, leaving the claim that they were discharged from the hospital a bit ago as of June 29 dubious. To make things even more dubious, people I've associated with have recently found a cluster of accounts created fairly recently under the pseudonym Night in New Mexico created and active within the last month that I and others believe are Moss Shadow trying to meander around the internet under a new alias. Before I go into detail on that, I would like to state that previously various people I associate with have believed that a YouTuber by the name of Beelzebub, who seems exclusively dedicated to making videos with impersonated and/or AI-generated evidence pointing toward Mossy being completely innocent, has been a sock puppet account of Mossy. However, this new evidence leaves existing evidence leaning toward Beelzebub being Moss as less clear than it seemed before, while I still would not trust this person's judgment as, again, they resort to impersonation and AI deepfakes to try and prove they're in the right, I would not say that Beelzebub is a de facto Moss Shadow sock puppet at this time. To start things off, let's take a look at a few drawings from the Night in New Mexico DeviantArt account. And now here are some of the more recent drawings from Moss's main DeviantArt account, Mother Mossy. As you can see, the art styles are eerily similar, as if they were created by the same person. Unless Night in New Mexico was somehow eerily skilled at directly imitating Moss Shadow, this shows that Night in New Mexico is indeed Moss Shadow, or is at the very least very likely to be them. However, there is additional proof that proves this is indeed Moss Shadow. Night in New Mexico has uploaded this unnamed human OC to both DeviantArt and their art fight. Looking at Mossy's main DeviantArt and art fight, they have a pony named Mercedes with almost the same features uploaded to their main accounts on said platforms. If this doesn't prove Night in New Mexico is Mossy, I don't know what does. During the time of making this script, people I associate with found a Scratch account claiming to be owned by Moss Shadow, which seems to be engaging in behaviors with the Night in New Mexico Scratch account that seem to indicate that Moss is desperately trying to cover up this persona. Additionally, the Night in New Mexico DeviantArt account seems to be denying this as well, even going to the length of deleting a comment calling them out. However, the Scratch account mentioned does belong to Night in New Mexico. As evident by this evidence I showed on screen previously, the Night in New Mexico Scratch account was made before the Night in New Mexico DeviantArt account's first upload, indicating that this account either belongs to the same creator, or the DeviantArt account is potentially stealing from it, as well as Moss being Night in New Mexico by their own words. In conclusion, Moss Shadow and Night in New Mexico are the same person, and Moss seems to be acting as shitty as ever after faking their own death. Claiming a bunch of teenagers murdered you to cover up your history of grooming is not only petty, but generally deplorable. Running away to make content on a new alias shows that not only are you unwilling to take responsibility for your actions, but you are willing to take extreme measures in order to evade responsibility and potentially endanger more people via your careless activities and your own admission of being an ephebophile. I hope that this video reaches the individuals that need to hear it most, and helps contribute to the growing realization that you are a terrible person. Your actions are unforgivable and your rabid stans need to learn that idols are not to be trusted. This has been SK. I'm gonna head out for now. See you on the other side.
Poop